Success stays with the person who is ready for it. This idea may feel uncomfortable, but it is honest. And it is the reason many people chase success for years without ever feeling truly prepared for it. Every day, you face moments that quietly shape who you are becoming. How you handle frustration, how you speak to yourself when things get tough, how you show up when nobody is watching. These moments decide your future long before success arrives. Most people want the rewards, but they skip the inner work. They try to move fast while avoiding the personal growth that actually holds everything together. This video speaks directly to that hidden process. It shows you how to build the kind of character that makes success feel natural instead of stressful. You will understand why your mindset, your habits, and your discipline matter more than any opportunity. If you're tired of feeling stuck or unprepared, stay with me. What you're about to hear can shift the way you see yourself and the way you build your future. This is where real change begins. Number 1, strengthen your self-belief by daily practice. When we talk about strengthening self-belief through daily practice, we are talking about something real and human, something you can feel in your chest when you wake up, and something that follows you when the day gets hard. Self-belief is not a gift you receive. It is something you build with your own hands. It grows when you show yourself that you can follow through. It grows when you make small choices that move your life forward. And it grows when you decide to stop waiting for confidence and start creating it. People often wait for the right moment to feel strong. They wait for approval. They wait for proof. But strength does not appear out of nowhere. It comes from the daily moments that may look small to others, but matter greatly to you. Each time you choose to follow a promise you made to yourself, you shape your inner voice. And that voice becomes the foundation of self-belief. Think about a simple morning. You open your eyes and you already feel the weight of everything you must do. Maybe you feel tired or unsure. This is where self-belief is built. When you stand up anyway and move towards something important, you tell yourself, I can handle this. You may not say it out loud, but your actions say it clearly. And your mind listens to every action you take. Daily practice does not need to be a big routine. It can start with one clear decision, a decision that says you want to improve. When you practice showing up for yourself, even in a small way, you build proof that you can depend on yourself. And once you have proof, your belief grows. Not from hype or loud words, but from real behavior. Self-belief comes from repetition, not empty repetition, but meaningful repetition. Each day, you practice something that brings you closer to who you want to be. It can be reading for 10 minutes, writing your thoughts, cleaning your space, finishing something you avoided yesterday, or simply taking a walk to clear your mind. What matters is that the action is yours. When the action is yours, the confidence you build from it is real. Many people look for motivation first, but motivation is often short-lived. You feel it today and lose it tomorrow. Daily practice does not depend on motivation. It depends on your decision to follow through, even when you feel uncertain or uncomfortable. When you practice this kind of consistency, your mind learns that you do not quit easily, and that knowledge becomes part of your character. Strengthening self-belief is not about perfection. It is about showing up in your life with honesty. Being honest with yourself creates clarity. It helps you see what you are avoiding and what you want to improve. When you begin to act on that clarity, even in small steps, your sense of control grows. And with control comes confidence. You may feel fear or doubt. That is human. But fear becomes smaller when you face it through daily action. Doubt becomes weaker when you prove it wrong through small wins. Every day you give yourself one win. No matter how small, you send a message to your mind. I am capable. And the mind believes the evidence you give it. Think about how you feel when you break a promise to yourself. There is a sense of disappointment that stays with you. That disappointment is not there to punish you. It is there to guide you. It shows you that your mind expects more from you because it knows you can do more. When you start keeping those promises, even the simple ones, your inner trust grows. That trust is the root of self-belief. Daily practice also helps you understand your own patterns. You learn what drains your energy and what lifts it. You learn when you work best. You learn what habits slow you down. And you learn how to correct yourself without tearing yourself down. This is an emotional skill that strengthens your character. It helps you stay grounded and steady when life becomes difficult. Another important part of building self-belief is setting clear standards for yourself. Not impossible standards, just standards that remind you of the person you want to become. When your actions match those standards, you feel proud of yourself in a quiet but powerful way. That pride fuels your belief. It stays with you and grows with each decision you make. There is something very powerful about pushing through discomfort. When you choose the action that challenges you instead of the one that brings momentary ease, you build mental strength. You may feel your heartbeat rise. You may feel tension in your body. But after you finish, you feel something even stronger, a sense of personal power. This is not about pressure. It is about growth. You learn that uncomfortable moments do not break you. They build you. Daily practice shapes your focus too. A strong focus keeps you from getting lost in distraction. When your mind knows what to work toward, you spend less time doubting yourself and more time growing. Focus helps you stay present, and presence helps you make better decisions. Self-belief grows faster when you are aware of your progress. At the end of the day, take a moment to notice what you did well. It could be something small, but acknowledge it. Humans grow stronger when we recognize our efforts. Not because we need praise, but because noticing progress trains our mind to expect improvement. And when the mind expects improvement, it becomes easier to continue. Some days you will feel off. You may feel slow or heavy, but even on those days, one small action can keep your belief alive. It does not need to be impressive. It only needs to be intentional. When you build this habit, your low days no longer control your life. They become part of your journey, not reasons to stop. There is a quiet strength that comes from not giving up on yourself. When you stay committed to daily practice, you build a kind of certainty inside you. A certainty that says you can rise again tomorrow and continue. People around you may not see every step you take, but you will feel it. You will feel your character becoming stronger. You will feel your confidence rising, not from words, but from actions. Every person who ever achieved something meaningful had moments of doubt, but they built their belief through simple, steady, daily practice. They built it before success arrived. They built it long before anyone noticed them. And you can do the same. Start with one action, then repeat it tomorrow and the next day. Do it because you want to respect yourself. Do it because you want to take charge of your life. Do it because you deserve to know what you are capable of. Self-belief is not distant. It is built right here in your everyday life, in the choices you make, in the habits you grow, in the standards you set, and in the way you show up for yourself even when you do not feel ready. Build it daily. Protect it daily. Strengthen it daily. Because once your self-belief is strong, success becomes something you can walk toward with confidence, clarity, and character. Number 2, build emotional control to guide your choices. Emotional control is one of the strongest skills a person can develop, and it shapes the way every choice in life unfolds. When you learn to guide your emotions instead of being pulled by them, you gain a level of clarity and power that supports your growth in every area. Many people experience stress, frustration, disappointment, or sudden waves of emotion that push them into decisions they regret later. Emotional control does not remove emotions, because emotions are natural and human. What emotional control does is give you space to think before you act. It allows you to respond with intention instead of reacting without judgment. And this is where your choices begin to change your life. There are moments when emotions feel heavy. You wake up with tension, or you carry frustration from something that happened the day before. Maybe someone said something that hurt you, or you faced a situation that left you feeling uncertain. Emotional control does not mean ignoring these feelings. It means noticing them without letting them decide your next move. When you pause and listen to what you feel, you take back your power. You stop letting temporary emotions shape long-term decisions. This pause is where wisdom grows. It gives you a chance to ask yourself what truly matters and what action brings you closer to the person you want to become. Emotional control requires awareness. Many people move through life reacting to everything without understanding why they react the way they do. When you start paying attention to what triggers your emotions, you gain valuable information. You learn which situations drain your energy. You learn what kind of behavior from others pushes you off balance. You learn what habits increase your stress. These insights help you plan your response. They help you prepare your mind so you are not caught off guard. Being aware of your emotional patterns is not a weakness. It is one of the strongest forms of intelligence you can develop. There are days when emotions rise quickly. You may feel irritation during a conversation. You may feel fear when trying something new. You may feel anger when someone misunderstands you. Emotional control is built in these exact moments. It is built when you choose not to let the emotion take over. You breathe, you think, you remind yourself that you have a choice. This choice is what separates emotional strength from emotional chaos. When you act with patience instead of impulse, you keep your dignity. You protect your day from being shaped by one emotional moment. People sometimes assume emotional control is cold or disconnected, but it is the opposite. Emotional control helps you feel deeply without letting those feelings harm your progress. It allows you to stay steady when things around you become unpredictable. It protects your relationships because you communicate with calm thinking instead of uncontrolled reaction. It strengthens your decision-making because you are guided by thoughtful awareness instead of sudden emotional swings. Every meaningful decision you make depends on your emotional state. When emotions are calm, your thinking becomes clear. You can evaluate consequences. You can see options you missed before. You can understand your desires and your motives with more accuracy. But when emotions are overwhelming, your mind narrows. You lose perspective. You rush into actions that do not reflect who you truly are. Daily practice of emotional control helps you protect your future from these impulsive moments. This kind of control grows through small habits. One habit is giving yourself a moment before responding to anything emotional. Another is recognizing when your body reacts with tension. Your body gives signals long before your mind catches up. A tight chest, a faster heartbeat, a sudden drop in energy. These signals help you understand when you need to slow down and regain balance. When you learn to read your body, you develop a deeper relationship with yourself. You become more in tune with what you feel and why you feel it. Another important part of emotional control is accepting responsibility for your reactions. Other people may trigger emotions, but they do not decide how you respond. When you learn to hold yourself accountable for your responses, you gain true strength. You stop blaming others for your reactions. You stop handing your mood to someone else. You begin to shape your emotional life the same way you shape any other important goal. Emotional control also helps you protect your vision. When you have a goal, emotions may interfere. Fear may make you hesitate. Doubt may hold you back. Frustration may make you give up too soon. Emotional control helps you stay steady even when your feelings shift. It keeps your actions connected to your purpose, not connected to your temporary emotional state. This brings discipline to your life in a natural way. It becomes easier to stick to routines. It becomes easier to complete tasks. You feel more prepared for challenges because your emotions no longer push you off your path. Another powerful part of emotional control is learning how to calm your mind during stressful situations. Stress often causes people to choose fast actions instead of wise ones. When you practice calming your mind through simple breathing, through reflection, or through quiet focus, you train your nervous system to stay steady under pressure. This skill can change your entire life because the world will always have moments of stress. With emotional control, stress does not control you. There will be times when emotions feel too strong to handle, but emotional control gives you tools to manage them without losing yourself. One tool is creating space before reacting. Another is reminding yourself that emotions are temporary. Another is reconnecting with your long-term goals. When you put your emotions in perspective, they lose their ability to overwhelm you. You begin to see them as signals, not commands. Emotional control also affects your relationships. It helps you avoid unnecessary conflict. It helps you speak with clarity instead of anger. It helps you understand others with more compassion. When you manage your emotions well, people trust you more, They feel safer around you. They know you will not explode over small issues or withdraw without explanation. This strengthens every connection in your life: family, friendships, professional partnerships, and community relationships. As you grow emotional control, you also develop patience. You learn to handle slow progress without frustration. You learn to accept delayed results without losing motivation. Patience gives you stability. It keeps your mind steady when life asks you to wait, and waiting becomes easier when your emotions no longer push you into feeling discouraged. There is power in knowing you can stay calm while others fall into chaos. There is power in choosing your response when others react without thinking. There is power in guiding your own emotional state instead of being controlled by it. This power builds confidence. It builds maturity. It builds character. And character is the foundation of all lasting success. When you practice emotional control, you also train your thoughts. Thoughts and emotions influence each other. When emotions are intense, thoughts become distorted. When you calm your emotions, your thoughts become organized. You see the truth more clearly. You recognize your fears for what they are. You identify what is real and what is imagined. This gives you better judgment, and judgment shapes your future. There is something deeply satisfying about reaching a point where you do not respond to everything. You do not fall apart when life becomes hard. You do not lose yourself when someone disappoints you. You stay steady. You stay aware. You stay intentional. People may not see the internal work behind it, but you will feel the strength every day. Emotional control is not built in one moment. It grows through many days of practice. It grows through reflection, awareness, and honest effort. It grows when you learn from your reaction, and it grows when you choose peace over impulse. Your life becomes more manageable when your emotions work with you instead of against you. Your choices become smarter. Your relationships become healthier. Your character becomes stronger, and the path to success becomes clearer because you are no longer pulled in every direction by uncontrolled emotions. You become a person who acts with purpose, who thinks with clarity, and who chooses with intention. That kind of person can accomplish far more than they ever imagined, because their foundation is steady, and their emotions no longer stand in the way of their progress. Number 3, train your mind to resist quick comfort. Quick comfort is one of the strongest traps holding people back from reaching their true potential. It shows up in the small moments of your daily life, when your mind pushes you toward the easiest option instead of the option that helps you grow. Training your mind to resist quick comfort is not about denying yourself a good life. It is about choosing a better future instead of chasing a temporary feeling. When you teach your mind to pause, to think, and to choose wisely, you build a strength that carries you through challenges, delays, discomfort, and long journeys of improvement. And this strength becomes a part of your character. You know those moments when you feel the urge to escape responsibility for a few minutes. Maybe you want to stay in bed a little longer. Maybe you want to avoid a task that requires effort. Maybe you want to choose entertainment over something meaningful. These moments look harmless on their own, but they slowly shape your habits. Every time you choose quick comfort, you make it harder for your mind to handle pressure. You teach your brain that avoiding effort is acceptable. And when you repeat that often enough, your mind stops fighting for you, becomes used to the easy way, and it resists anything that demands discipline. Training your mind begins with awareness. You must be able to recognize when your desire for quick comfort appears. It often comes as a small whisper telling you to delay something important. It may show up as resistance, which makes simple tasks feel heavier than they really are. It may show up as excuses, convincing you that you can always do it later. When you start noticing these patterns, you gain control over them. Awareness is the first step, because you cannot fight what you do not recognize. Once you identify how quick comfort tries to influence your choices, the next step is to interrupt the pattern. You do this by making a conscious decision to act differently. Instead of choosing the easy option, you choose the option that strengthens your character. You choose the action that supports your goals. This small decision may feel uncomfortable in the beginning, but it builds discipline, and discipline grows stronger with practice. Think about how your life changes when you develop the ability to push through discomfort. You become a person who does not give up easily. You become someone who does not rely on motivation to act. You begin to trust yourself more, because you see that you can follow through even when the urge for quick comfort is strong. This trust builds confidence. It shapes your identity. You start seeing yourself as a person who can handle challenges instead of someone who avoids them. Quick comfort often steals your time. It takes minutes that turn into hours. It distracts you from your vision. When you train your mind to resist it, you become more protective of your time. You learn to use your time with intention. You choose tasks that move you forward. You limit things that drain your energy without giving you any real value. As your time becomes more meaningful, your days begin to feel more rewarding. You feel more in control of your life, because you stop surrendering it to the easiest choice available. There will always be moments when your mind wants a break, and rest is important. But there is a difference between rest and escape. Rest restores you. Escape stalls you. Training your mind means learning to recognize that difference. When you choose rest, you come back stronger. When you escape through quick comfort, you come back feeling behind. The more you understand this, the easier it becomes to avoid choices that offer relief now but create problems later. You build mental strength every time you resist a comfort-driven impulse. Each time you avoid checking your phone during important work, you train your attention. Each time you finish a task before relaxing, you train your discipline. Each time you confront something uncomfortable, instead of avoiding it, you train your courage. Your mind learns from repetition. It begins to understand that you value long-term benefit over short-term relief. Training your mind also requires honesty. You must be able to admit when you choose comfort over growth. This honesty is not meant to shame you, but to help you improve. When you can clearly see how quick comfort controls your actions, you can begin to challenge it. You can set new expectations for yourself. You can create a standard that demands more from you. And when you start living by that standard, your character strengthens naturally. Comfort is not the enemy. The problem is seeking it too soon. When you chase comfort before you earn it, you weaken your ability to grow. But when you train your mind to delay comfort until after your responsibilities are completed, comfort becomes healthy. It becomes a reward that encourages you to continue. This creates a powerful cycle of growth. Effort leads to progress. Progress leads to confidence. Confidence leads to better choices. And better choices lead to a stronger life. There will be times when your mind fights against change. The brain loves routines, even if the routines are not good for you. When you start training your mind, you may feel resistance in the beginning. You may feel tired or distracted or impatient. This is normal. It is a sign that you are challenging old habits. Your job is not to eliminate the resistance. Your job is to stay committed, even when the resistance appears. Over time, the resistance fades because your new habits become your new normal. One of the strongest ways to train your mind is to set a small daily challenge for yourself. Something that pushes you a little beyond your comfort zone. It could be waking up earlier, completing tasks without distraction, exercising, reading a meaningful book, or speaking honestly when you usually stay quiet. These challenges do not need to be huge. They just need to be consistent. When you repeat them daily, your mind becomes familiar with effort. It learns to accept discomfort as part of your progress. Training your mind also improves your emotional strength. When you resist quick comfort, you develop patience. You learn to handle frustration. You learn to stay focused, even when things do not go your way. These qualities help you make better choices, because you are not controlled by temporary feelings. You act with clarity. You respond with intention. You move through life with a steady mind. Another benefit of resisting quick comfort is the improvement of your self-discipline. Discipline is not a talent. It is a skill built through decisions. Every time you avoid the easy choice, you strengthen your discipline. And discipline becomes the foundation of many achievements. Without discipline, talent goes unused. Without discipline, dreams stay dreams. But with discipline, you become unstoppable, because you follow through with your commitments even when you do not feel like it. Your ability to resist quick comfort also shapes your self-respect. When you act in a way that aligns with your goals, you gain pride in yourself. You begin to see yourself as someone capable of real growth. This sense of respect makes you want to continue making good choices.
You protect your progress. You value your effort. You refuse to let temporary comfort take away the long-term results you are working toward. The stronger your mind becomes, the easier it is to guide your life. You no longer feel pulled in every direction. You stay focused on what matters. You stay connected to your goal, and you begin to experience a deeper sense of fulfillment. Because your actions reflect your values. You wake up with purpose. You move through your day with intention. You end your night knowing you made progress. Training your mind to resist quick comfort is one of the most valuable investments you can make in yourself. It helps you create a life you can be proud of. It prepares you for challenges. It strengthens your discipline. It improves your emotional health. And it builds a character that supports lasting success. Your future becomes brighter not because everything becomes easy, but because you become stronger, wiser, and more capable of choosing the right path even when the wrong one feels more comfortable.
Number 4. Shape your values through honest daily actions. Your values are the core of who you are, and the way to shape them is through the quiet choices you make each day. Values do not grow from big speeches or good intention. They grow from the behavior you repeat, the attitudes you choose, and the way you treat yourself and others, even when nobody is watching. Honest daily actions are the foundation that strengthens your character, because they show what you truly stand for. Each honest moment becomes a piece of your identity, shaping your direction and influencing the life you build. When you begin shaping your values, you first look at what matters to you. You look at the kind of person you want to become. You look at what you respect in others and what you expect from yourself. This level of honesty gives you clarity. It helps you understand which actions lift you up and which actions weaken your sense of integrity. You start making choices that reflect the person you want to be instead of the person you are trying to leave behind. Values form through action, not imagination. If you want to become responsible, you practice responsibility daily. If you want to become sincere, you show sincerity, even when it feels uncomfortable. Every value needs evidence, and that evidence is built through repeated behavior. Honest daily actions carry weight because they create trust within yourself. You trust yourself more when your actions match your intentions. Many people struggle because they say one thing, but do another. This creates conflict inside their mind. It makes them doubt themselves and their direction. When you practice honesty in your behavior, you remove that conflict. You feel aligned. Alignment brings strength, and that strength helps you stay steady, even when life becomes difficult. When you know that your actions reflect your values, you no longer feel lost. You become grounded in your principle. There is something powerful about doing the right thing, even when the right thing is difficult. Honest daily actions require effort. They require discipline. They require patience. They require you to stand firm in moments when taking shortcuts feels easier. But each time you choose honesty, you shape a value that stays with you for life. You may not receive praise for it. You may not receive immediate benefits, but your character grows. Your inner voice becomes stronger. You build a sense of pride that does not fade with time. Values are shaped not by rare moments of inspiration, but by the choices you make when nobody is paying attention. These choices show whether you hold yourself to a real standard or only follow rules when it is convenient. When you act honestly in small situations, you prepare yourself to act honestly in bigger ones. You create a pattern that becomes natural. This natural pattern becomes your identity. People may see the results later, but the transformation happens privately long before anyone notices. Honest actions also help you separate what is true for you from what the world tries to pressure you into doing. There will always be situations where others encourage shortcuts, excuses, or behaviors that go against your personal belief. When you have shaped solid values through daily honesty, you can resist that pressure. You stay committed to your path. You do not bend easily, just to fit in or to avoid discomfort. You hold your standards because they come from consistent personal effort, not outside influence. Your values guide your decisions. When you build them through honest action, decisions become clearer. You no longer struggle to figure out what is right, because your values provide the answer. Instead of being pulled by impulses,
or emotions. You choose based on what aligns with the person you want to be. This gives you peace. It gives you direction. It gives you confidence in your judgment. You feel more prepared for challenges because you know your decisions are rooted in something solid and meaningful. Daily honesty also improves the way you relate to others. People respect someone whose actions match their words. They trust someone who behaves consistent. They feel safe around someone who expresses truth without harming or disrespecting others. When you communicate honestly, you create healthier relationships. You avoid unnecessary conflict. You strengthen connection because people can feel your sincerity. Your values become a living example, influencing others simply through the way you carry yourself. One of the most important parts of shaping your values is taking responsibility for the choices you make. Responsibility is a value formed through daily action. When you own your decisions, both good and bad, you build maturity. You stop running from mistakes. You learn from them. You grow because you accept that improvement comes from effort, not excuses. Each moment of responsibility adds another layer to your character. It prepares you for leadership. It prepares you for challenges. It prepares you for success. Another meaningful aspect of shaping values is showing fairness in your daily behavior. Fairness is not something you practice only when it is easy. It is something you display even when you feel tempted to take advantage of a situation. Fairness builds respect. It strengthens your self-image. It helps you maintain balance in your relationships and interactions. When you act fairly, you contribute to an environment where others feel valued. This type of environment strengthens your emotional stability and supports your personal growth. Every honest action reinforces your emotional strength. When you behave in a way that reflects your values, you feel less internal conflict. You feel more secure. You feel more connected to your purpose. This emotional stability helps you make better choices under pressure. It helps you stay calm during difficult moments. It helps you avoid regret because your decisions come from a place of clarity, not confusion. Values also help you protect your time and energy. When you know what you stand for, you become more selective about what you allow into your life. You say no to things that waste your energy. You stop investing in habits that weaken your character. You create boundaries that support your well-being. These boundaries come from the values you shape through honest action. And with clear boundaries, your life becomes more manageable and more meaningful. One of the strongest benefits of shaping your values daily is the increase in self-respect. Self-respect grows when you act in ways that honor your principles. It grows when you stay true to your standards. It grows when you make difficult choices with integrity. When you respect yourself, you expect more from yourself. You aim higher. You push hard. You develop a sense of pride that cannot be taken from you because it is built on real effort and real behavior. Shaping your values through honest actions is a lifelong process. You do not become a person of strong character in a single day. You build it through steady choices that reflect who you want to be. Every time you make an honest decision, you strengthen your identity. You move closer to the person you admire within yourself. And when you live by values that you have shaped through consistency and honesty, success becomes a natural result. Success becomes something you earn because your character supports it. The person you become is shaped by the actions you choose today. When you commit to honest behavior daily, you build a life guided by truth, purpose, and strength. You develop values that lead you toward meaningful success. You create a foundation that cannot be shaken by pressure, fear, or difficulty. Each honest action becomes a step forward. Each step forward builds your future. You gain clarity, confidence, and stability. And you rise into a version of yourself that you can trust, respect, and depend on every day of your life.
Number 5, raise your effort when motivation feels low. There are days when motivation feels strong and everything seems easy to start. Then there are days when your energy drops and nothing inside you wants to move. These low motivation days challenge your character more than any other moment. They test your discipline. They test your commitment. They test your desire to grow. Raising your effort when motivation feels low is one of the most important skills you can build because it teaches you to rely on your decisions instead of your moods. It teaches you to act from responsibility rather than emotion. And this single shift can change the entire direction of your life. When motivation slips, your mind naturally leans toward comfort. It tells you to slow down, step back, or put things off. It offers excuses that sound reasonable. It tries to convince you that today is not the right day and that you can always try again tomorrow. But each time you choose to stop because motivation is low, you strengthen a pattern that weakens your progress. Your mind begins to think that effort depends on feeling ready. You begin to believe that action can only happen when you feel inspired, and this belief steals your future potential, because very few meaningful days arrive with perfect motivation. Raising your effort during low motivation moments begins with reminding yourself why effort matters. You think about the goals you set, the vision you carry, and the improvements you want to see in your life. You reconnect with your reasons. Reasons give direction. Direction gives strength. Even when motivation fades, your reasons stay alive. They push you to act from clarity instead of waiting for excitement. When you work from your reasons, your effort becomes steady. You no longer depend on the emotional waves that come and go throughout your week. There is something powerful about choosing effort when your mind wants to slow down. It builds a sense of personal power that motivation alone cannot give. Motivation feels good, but effort builds strength. Motivation lifts your mood, but effort builds your character. Effort, especially when you feel low, creates a quiet accomplishment inside you. You realize you are capable of more than you thought. You see that your mind does not have to control your actions. You discover that you can do hard things even when you do not feel ready. This discovery stays with you and becomes one of your greatest sources of confidence. Low motivation days often come from stress or fatigue, but they also come from routine. When life feels repetitive, your mind searches for something easier. Effort reminds your mind that progress still matters. It shows you that even slow days can be productive when you choose to engage instead of withdraw. By raising your effort on these days, you stay consistent. Consistency builds momentum, and momentum makes you moving, even when your emotions shift. One of the strongest ways to raise your effort during low motivation moments is to break your tasks into smaller steps. A large task feels heavy when motivation is low, but a small step feels manageable. When you start with something small, you activate your focus. You begin to feel movement, you feel less overwhelmed. And as soon as you begin, your effort naturally increases. Many people believe they need motivation to start, but most of the time motivation appears after you start. Taking one small action is often enough to wake your mind up and remind you that you're capable of more than you feel. Another effective method is giving yourself a specific time to work. Even 10 minutes of focused effort teaches your mind that action is possible. Once you begin, your brain shifts into task mode. That shift reduces resistance. It replaces hesitation with engagement. And once engagement begins, effort rises. You are no longer trapped in the feeling of low motivation. You are now connected to action, which strengthens your sense of control. Low motivation days also teach you the value of discipline. Discipline is not harsh or rigid. Discipline is the ability to follow through on what matters to you. It is the ability to show up even when you feel slow. It is the ability to choose your long-term good over your short-term comfort. When you raise your effort in these moments, you strengthen your discipline. Discipline becomes a part of your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who can be counted on, not only in high-energy moments, but in the quieter, more difficult ones. Your effort shapes the way you feel about yourself. When you act even when motivation is low, you build self-respect. You prove to yourself that you can stay committed. You show yourself that you do not collapse under emotional weight. You build a kind of pride that comes from consistency, not from perfect days. This self-respect is important because it influences the choices you make tomorrow. When you respect yourself, you avoid behaviors that waste your time. You choose actions that match your goal. You protect your progress instead of damaging it. Another important part of raising your effort is recognizing your patterns. You learn what typically causes your motivation to drop. You learn which habits drain your energy. You learn which environment slows your focus. Once you understand these patterns, you can prepare for them. You can adjust your surroundings. You can organize your day better. You can set times for deep work. You can create habits that support you even when motivation is low. The more you understand yourself,
the easier it becomes to guide your behavior effectively. There will always be days when your energy drops, but these days offer an opportunity to grow. When motivation is missing, effort becomes your tool for transformation. Effort keeps you reliable. Effort keeps you focused. Effort keeps you developing, even when the emotional spark isn't present. This kind of dependable effort is what separates long-term achievers from those who succeed only when circumstances feel ideal. Raising your effort during low motivation moments also teaches you emotional maturity. It teaches you to handle disappointment. It teaches you to stay calm when your plans feel unexciting. It teaches you to keep going when enthusiasm fades. This emotional maturity becomes a strong anchor during stressful periods. It helps you avoid giving up too soon. It keeps you steady when progress feels slow. It reminds you that effort still counts, even when results haven't shown up yet. Many people wait for the perfect day, the perfect mindset, or the perfect mood to take action. But those perfect days rarely come. Success belongs to the person who acts on imperfect days. The person who shows up with effort when motivation is weak. The person who stays committed even when they feel uninspired. This is the kind of person who builds real character. This is the kind of person who earns progress that lasts. Your effort does not need to be dramatic. It simply needs to be present. Even a small amount of effort on a low day keeps your momentum alive. It protects your habits. It prevents you from falling into patterns that slow your growth. It shows your mind that progress does not stop just because motivation dips. And when your mind learns this, you become stronger every time motivation fades. There is a unique satisfaction that comes from finishing a task on a day when you felt unmotivated. The satisfaction is deeper than the excitement you feel on high-energy days. You feel a sense of inner victory because you overcame your own resistance. You prove to yourself that you can rise even when you do not feel your best. These victories build the strongest kind of confidence, the confidence that comes from resilience. Raising your effort when motivation is low is not about pushing yourself to exhaustion. It is about staying committed to your goals and refusing to let temporary feelings control your day. It is about strengthening your character by acting with purpose. It is about choosing progress over excuses. When you develop this ability, you become dependable for yourself. You become a person who follows through. You become someone who grows steadily even when emotions change. Your future depends on how you act on low motivation days. Those days shape your discipline. They shape your habit. They shape your identity. When you decide to raise your effort instead of stepping back, you create a powerful pattern that helps you excel in every part of your life. You become someone who builds success on a foundation of consistency and strength. And once you master this skill, your potential expands far beyond anything motivation alone could ever give you.
Number 6. Face your fears to grow personal strength. Fear is a natural part of being human, and every person feels it in different ways. Some fear failure, some fear judgment, some fear change, and others fear stepping into responsibility. The truth is that fear is not a sign of weakness. It is a signal that you are standing at the edge of growth. When you face your fears, you give yourself the chance to expand your courage and build real personal strength. Strength is not created by hiding from fear. It is created by moving through it with steady effort and clear intention. Every time you confront something that makes you uneasy, you discover a deeper level of your abilities, and that discovery changes your life. Fear often appears before important moments. It shows up when you try something new or when you make a decision that could shape your future. It shows up when you step outside your usual routine. It shows up when you aim for something meaningful. Many people misunderstand fear and think it should disappear before they take action. But fear usually fades after you act. Not when you wait for fear to vanish, you stay stuck in the same place. Facing your fears teaches you that courage does not mean the absence of fear. Courage means moving forward even when fear is still present. When you face something that scares you, your mind becomes sharp. You pay closer attention. You learn more about yourself. You uncover hidden strengths. Because fear pushes you to look within. It makes you question your limits. It makes you ask whether you trust yourself enough to take the next step.
And when you do take that step, growth does not happen in comfort. Growth happens in the moments when your heart beats a little faster and your mind feels unsure. These moments are the beginning of progress. Fear also reveals your insecurities. It shows you the areas where your confidence needs to develop. Instead of avoiding these insecurities, facing fear helps you understand them. You learn what beliefs hold you back. You learn what situations challenge your confidence. This understanding gives you power because you can begin working on these areas. You do not run from the things that unsettle you. You move toward them with a steady desire to improve your life. Personal strength grows when you stop treating fear like a barrier and start treating it like a guide. There are many kinds of fear. The fear of failure can make you hesitate. The fear of embarrassment can make you stay quiet. The fear of making mistakes can keep you from starting anything new. But when you face these fears, you grow resilience. You learn that failure does not destroy you. You learn that embarrassment fades faster than you imagine. You learn that mistakes are simply lessons in motion. Each time you face these experiences, your emotional stability increases. You become less sensitive to negative outcomes because you learn that you can recover. You learn that you can continue. And this understanding builds confidence. Facing fears also strengthens your decision-making. Fear often tries to push you toward the safest choice, even when that choice does not support your growth. When you practice confronting your fears, you learn to make decisions based on purpose, not fear. You stop letting fear control your choices. You develop the ability to think clearly, even when the situation feels uncomfortable. This clarity is one of the strongest forms of personal strength because it helps you navigate challenges with confidence instead of confusion. There will be times when fear feels overwhelming, but this does not mean you cannot move forward. You do not need to take huge leaps. Even a small step toward what scares you begins the process of growth. When you take that small step, your mind realizes that you are capable of more than you believed. It reduces the intensity of the fear. It increases your willingness to try again. The next step becomes easier because you have proven to yourself that you can handle discomfort. And with each new step, your strength grows. Personal strength does not appear suddenly. It grows through repeated exposure to things that once intimidated you. When you face fear regularly, you build mental endurance. Your mind becomes used to challenge. You become familiar with discomfort. Eventually, the situations that once frightened you no longer have the same power over you. This transformation does not happen overnight, but it happens consistently when you choose courage over avoidance. Another important part of facing fear is the emotional freedom it brings. Fear often creates a cage in the mind. It limits your choices. It restricts your opportunities. When you confront fear directly, you open that cage. You free yourself from the limitations created by worry and doubt. You begin to see life with a wider perspective. You recognize possibilities you once ignored. You feel lighter because you no longer carry the weight of fear in silence. Instead of fear controlling your path, your strength begins guiding it. Facing fear also teaches you patience. Fear often urges you to rush or avoid, but growth requires you to move at a steady pace. When you face your fears, you learn to stay calm while your mind adjusts. You learn to breathe through tension. You learn to stay present, even when your thoughts try to push you away. This patience becomes part of your character. It helps you handle stress in everyday situations. It helps you think clearly during challenges. It helps you remain grounded when life feels uncertain. Personal strength comes from knowing you can rely on yourself. Facing your fears is one of the best ways to build that trust. When you prove to yourself that you can face uncomfortable situations, you stop questioning your capabilities. You begin to believe in your potential more deeply. This belief influences your decisions. It influences your goals. It influences the way you show up in the world. You begin to carry yourself with confidence because you know you can confront whatever life puts in front of you. The more you face fear, the more your self-respect grows. Self-respect comes from confronting challenges, not avoiding them. It grows when you take responsibility for your inner growth. It grows when you choose strength over retreat. When you respect yourself, you stop settling for habits that weaken you. You stop allowing fear to dictate your choices. You begin to create standards for your behavior and these standards guide you toward a stronger and more meaningful life. Fear will always appear in new situations, but once you have learned how to face it, you stop seeing it as a threat. You begin to see it as a signal that you are stepping into an area where growth is possible. This perspective changes everything. Instead of resisting fear, you welcome the challenge. Instead of feeling intimidated, you feel prepared. Instead of shrinking, you become the kind of person who grows stronger through discomfort. Your personal strength increases every time you choose courage. You may not notice the growth immediately, but it builds quietly. It builds through experience. It builds through effort. It builds through the moments when you decide not to turn around. These moments shape your character in a deep and lasting way. They prepare you for future challenges. They help you handle life with maturity. They give you the confidence to take on opportunities that once felt out of reach. Facing your fears is not easy, but it is worth every effort. It is the path to a stronger mind, a more stable heart, and a more confident life. Every time you confront fear, you rise a little higher. You become more aware of your strength. You learn that you are capable of far more than you once believed. And as this strength grows, it becomes one of the greatest tools you carry into your future. A tool that helps you build success, stability, courage, and a life guided by personal strength, rather than controlled by fear.
Number 7. Choose responsible actions to build inner stability. Inner stability grows when a person decides to take responsibility for their actions, choices, and direction in life. Responsible actions create order in the mind. They give you a sense of control over your days and a sense of purpose in your behavior. Without responsibility, life becomes unpredictable and stressful because you feel pushed around by circumstances instead of guided by your own decisions. Choosing responsible actions strengthens your inner world because it teaches you that your life responds to the effort you bring to it. When you show responsibility, you send a message to yourself that you are capable of leading your life instead of being led by excuses or avoidance. Inner stability does not come from perfect days. It comes from steady effort. Each time you choose to handle something instead of ignoring it, you build confidence. You prove to yourself that you are willing to face challenges rather than run from them. This builds a kind of emotional grounding that makes it easier to handle the unexpected. When your inner world feels stable, your reactions become measured. You think more clearly. You stay calm under pressure. These qualities form the foundation of strong character. Responsible actions start with the small things. When you clean up after yourself, when you complete a task you promised, when you show up on time, when you admit mistakes, you reinforce responsibility within your character. These small choices may look unimportant, but they shape the way you see yourself. They contribute to your self-respect. Each small act of responsibility strengthens the idea that you are dependable, disciplined, and capable of handling your own life. And when you see yourself this way, your inner stability grows naturally. There are many people who want stability but do not want accountability. They want peace without effort. But peace grows from order, and order grows from responsibility. When you avoid responsibility, your life begins to feel chaotic. Unfinished tasks pile up. Delayed decisions create stress. Ignored problems return with greater force. This pressure builds until it becomes overwhelming. The antidote to this overwhelm is responsibility. When you take responsibility, you take control. You create direction. You remove unnecessary stress by doing what needs to be done. Inner stability forms from this process of steady, intentional action. Responsible actions also strengthen your emotional health. When you choose responsibility, you acknowledge your influence over your circumstances. You stop blaming others for your situation. You stop waiting for someone else to fix things. This mindset gives you emotional power because you realize you can change your life through your decision. You can adjust your habits. You can improve your behavior. You can take steps that improve your future. This emotional independence is a major part of inner stability because it keeps you from feeling helpless when life becomes difficult. Another important part of developing inner stability through responsibility is learning to follow through. Many people start tasks but do not finish them. They make promises they do not keep. They commit to goals
but abandon them when the excitement fades. Following through builds strength because it teaches you that you can be counted on. It teaches you that you are not controlled by feelings of boredom or frustration. Every time you complete something you started, you build discipline. Discipline forms structure. Structure supports stability. When you follow through on your responsibilities, you feel grounded. Responsible actions also create clarity. When you take control of your life, you begin to see things more honestly. You understand which habits support your growth and which habits slow you down. You see where you have been avoiding effort. You notice where you need to improve. This clarity helps you make better decisions. It helps you move forward with fewer distractions. It helps you build a life based on intention instead of reaction. Inner stability becomes easier when your life is driven by clarity rather than confusion. Choosing responsibility requires maturity. It requires you to recognize that not all days feel easy. Some days feel heavy. Some days feel unproductive. But even on those days, responsibility helps you stay steady. You may not achieve everything, but you do something. You handle what must be handled. You stay engaged with your life. This consistency keeps your mind stable because it prevents guilt, stress, or avoidance from piling up. Stability grows when you face your responsibilities, regardless of mood. Taking responsibility also strengthens your relationships. People trust someone who acts responsibly. They rely on someone who shows commitment. When you behave responsibly, you create healthier connections with others. You communicate honestly. You keep your word. You treat others with respect. This trust builds emotional safety, which supports your inner life. When your relationships feel balanced and respectful, your inner stability grows because you feel supported and understood. There is another layer to responsibility: owning your mistakes. Mistakes are part of life, and responsibility helps you handle them with strength rather than shame. When you admit a mistake quickly, you take away its power. You learn from it. You adjust your behavior. This process builds mental resilience. People who avoid responsibility often repeat the same mistakes because they never face them honestly. But when you take responsibility, you grow from each experience. You become wiser, more self-aware, and more emotionally stable. Inner stability also grows when you align your actions with your values. When your behavior matches what you believe in, you feel at peace. When your actions contradict your values, you feel inner conflict. Responsibility helps you reduce this conflict. It pushes you to behave in a way that reflects your principles. When you live in alignment, you stop feeling pulled in different directions. Your mind rests easier because you know you are living honestly. That honesty becomes a strong foundation for your emotional life. Another benefit of choosing responsible actions is that it builds long-term confidence. Confidence is not built from talk or imagination. It is built from consistent behavior. When you act responsibly day after day, your confidence deepens. You feel capable because you have evidence of your capabilities. You feel strong because you have developed habits that support strength. You feel prepared because you have practiced accountability. Confidence from responsibility is stable because it does not depend on momentary emotion. It depends on repeated action. Responsibility also helps you manage fear. When you handle your duties, your tasks, and your challenges, you reduce the unknowns in your life. Fear grows in uncertainty, but responsibility reduces when your life is organized and your decisions are intentional. Fear loses its power. You no longer feel overwhelmed by problems because you trust yourself to manage them. This trust is a major part of inner stability because it gives you a sense of control over your path. Choosing responsible actions is not about carrying every burden alone. It is about doing what is within your control. It is about managing your time, your effort, your behavior, and your reactions. It is about understanding that your progress depends on your choices. When you focus on what you can control, your mind becomes calmer. You stop wasting energy on things outside your influence. You direct your attention toward actions that actually create change. This creates stability in your thoughts, feelings, and behavior. Inner stability grows from responsibility because responsibility strengthens your identity. When you behave responsibly, You begin to see yourself differently. You see yourself as a capable person. You see yourself as someone who can handle challenges. You see yourself as someone who builds their life with intention. This identity becomes part of your self-image, and it influences the choices you make every day. When you believe in your ability to manage your life, you approach the world with confidence. Life becomes steadier when you choose responsibility. You no longer feel lost or overwhelmed because your actions create direction. You no longer feel unstable because your decisions with structure. Inner stability is not something that suddenly appears. It is something you build through honest effort, consistent behavior, and responsible action. Every choice makes you stronger. Every responsibility you take on builds maturity. Every task you complete adds another layer to your emotional foundation. In the end, choosing responsible actions helps you create a life you can trust. It gives you peace because you know you are doing your part. It gives you strength because you learn how to manage your challenges. It gives you confidence because you see your progress. This is how inner stability grows, not from hoping for an easier life, but from taking responsibility for the life you are creating, day by day, choice by choice.
Number 8, improve your reactions to handle pressure better. Pressure is something every person experiences, and the way you react to it shapes the direction of your life. Some people fall apart under pressure because their reactions are fast, emotional, and uncontrolled. Others learn to stay steady, even when things around them feel intense. Improving your reactions is one of the most valuable skills you can develop, because pressure is not something you can avoid forever. It shows up in your work, your relationships, your responsibilities, and your personal goals. When you learn to respond instead of react, you gain the ability to stay calm, think clearly, and make choices that support your growth rather than damage it. Pressure often causes people to speak too quickly, make decisions too fast, or withdraw without thinking. These reactive moments may feel natural, but they often create bigger problems. Improving your reactions begins with awareness. You must first notice what happens inside you when pressure appears. Maybe your heart rate increases, your thoughts race, or your body tightens. These are signs that your mind feels threatened or overwhelmed. When you recognize these signals, you can pause before reacting. This pause gives you a chance to decide how you want to respond instead of letting pressure control you. One of the strongest ways to improve your reactions is to slow down your thinking during intense moments. When pressure rises, your mind tries to protect you by pushing you into fast decisions. But fast decisions made under emotional strain often lack clarity. By slowing down your thought process even slightly, you give your rational mind time to engage. You create space to consider your options. You remind yourself that not every situation needs an immediate reaction. This space helps you remain steady, even when the pressure feels heavy. Your reactions also improve when you learn to separate facts from feelings. Under pressure, feelings often distort reality. Something small can suddenly feel huge. A minor problem can feel like a crisis. When you take a moment to identify what is actually happening, your reactions become grounded. You stop letting fear or frustration take over. You respond to what is real instead of what you imagine. This one skill can save you from unnecessary stress and wasted energy. Another powerful part of improving your reactions is developing emotional restraint. Emotional restraint does not mean suppressing your feelings. It means choosing not to act on them immediately. It means understanding that your first emotional impulse is not always your best response. When you practice emotional restraint, you protect yourself from regret. You avoid saying things you do not mean. You avoid taking actions that complicate your life. You give yourself time to choose a response that leads to growth rather than conflict. Pressure often exposes your weaknesses. It brings out impatience, frustration, insecurity, or self-doubt. Instead of running from these weaknesses, use pressure as a chance to understand them. When you notice how you react, you learn more about your emotional patterns. You learn which situations unsettle you. You learn what triggers your anger or anxiety. This awareness helps you prepare for future situations. You become more strategic.
You begin practicing responses that align with your goals instead of reactions that come from old habits. Improving your reactions also requires strengthening your mindset. A strong mindset does not collapse at the first sign of challenge. It remains stable. It stays focused. It looks for solutions rather than problems. When your mindset is strong, your reactions become steady because your mind is not easily shaken. This strength comes from daily habits: reading, reflecting, finishing tasks, managing time, and maintaining discipline. The stronger your mindset becomes, the easier it is to respond calmly under pressure. Another important aspect is developing patience. Pressure often pushes people into rushing. They feel urgency, so they act quickly without thinking clearly. Patience helps you slow this process. It helps you breathe. It helps you observe the situation without letting pressure dominate your thinking. Patience is not passive. It is a form of control. It gives you a stronger position to respond from. When you act with patience, your reactions become thoughtful and effective. Your reactions also improve when you manage your physical state. Pressure often triggers physical tension. Your muscles tighten. Your breathing becomes shallow. These physical responses influence your thoughts and emotions. When you learn to relax your body, your mind becomes calmer. Deep breathing, stretching, or simply standing still for a moment helps your system reset. When your body is steady, your reactions follow the same pattern. You are less likely to lash out, panic, or shut down. It is important to understand that improving your reactions does not mean becoming emotionless. It means gaining control over when and how you express your emotion. It means choosing the most effective response instead of the most immediate one. This control brings power into your life because you stop letting outside events determine your inner state. You begin guiding your behavior no matter how intense the situation becomes. Another way to handle pressure better is to stay focused on solutions rather than problems. When pressure rises, many people fixate on what is going wrong. This increases stress and leads to fear-driven reactions. But when you shift your attention to what you can do, your mindset changes. Your reactions become constructive. You begin to solve problems instead of adding emotional weight to them. This creates confidence because you learn that you can navigate pressure instead of being overwhelmed by it. Your reactions also improve when you stop taking everything personal. Pressure often makes people sensitive. They think someone is attacking them, judging them, or doubting them. Most of the time, this is not true. When you learn to separate yourself from the situation, you react with more calmness. You stop assuming the worst. You stop creating emotional stories that make the pressure heavier. This helps you stay emotionally balanced, even when circumstances become difficult. Improving your reactions also comes from setting clear personal standards. When you know how you want to conduct yourself, you act according to those standards even under pressure. Standards guide your behavior. They prevent you from slipping into impulses. They help you remain consistent. When you act in alignment with your standards, you feel more in control of your life. This inner control becomes the foundation of predictable, stable reactions. Pressure can come from expectations, responsibilities, deadlines, or uncertainty. You cannot remove all pressure from your life, but you can strengthen your ability to handle it. When you improve your reactions, you become someone who can operate with clarity, even in challenging situations. People around you notice your calmness. They trust your judgment. They see you as someone who can lead because you do not fall apart under stress. This skill creates opportunities. It strengthens relationships. It builds respect. Personal strength is built through consistent practice. Each time you remain calm under pressure, you add to your emotional maturity. Each time you slow down and think before reacting, you reinforce your discipline. Each time you choose a thoughtful response over an emotional one, you increase your stability. This growth is gradual, but powerful. Over time, your reactions become more controlled, more effective, and more aligned with the person you want to become. Improving your reactions also frees your mind. When you stop reacting impulsively, you reduce conflict in your life. You avoid unnecessary arguments. You prevent misunderstandings. You experience fewer regrets. Your emotional life becomes lighter because you are not constantly recovering from reactions that caused problems. This freedom allows you to focus on growth, goals and meaningful experiences, instead of emotional damage control. The ability to handle pressure well is a sign of strong character. It shows maturity. It shows responsibility. It shows emotional intelligence. When you choose to improve your reactions, you are building a life that is more stable, more intentional, and more successful. You are developing the kind of inner strength that supports every part of your journey. Pressure will come and go, but with improved reactions, you remain steady, you remain balanced, you remain capable. This is how personal strength grows, not by avoiding pressure, but by learning how to respond to it with clarity, patience, and steady control.
Number 9. Develop steady habits that support real maturity. Real maturity is not something that suddenly appears with age or experience. It is something you develop through steady habits that shape your character day after day. These habits give structure to your life and help you grow into someone who thinks clearly, acts responsibly, and handles challenges with patience and strength. When you commit to steady habits, you create a foundation that supports your growth, even when life becomes unpredictable. Habits build direction. Habits build stability. Habits build the kind of maturity that stays with you no matter what you face. Maturity begins with consistency. Many people want change, but only act when they feel inspired. Real growth comes from doing the right things daily, even when the excitement fades. Steady habits teach you discipline. They show your mind that progress does not depend on feelings. It depends on action. When you develop a habit and repeat it, your brain begins to accept it as part of your identity. You stop relying on motivation to push you. The habit itself carries you. This shift creates emotional strength because you no longer feel controlled by your mood. One of the first steps toward real maturity is choosing habits that align with the person you want to become. If you want to be responsible, develop habits that reinforce responsibility. If you want to improve your mindset, build habits that strengthen your thinking. If you want to grow emotionally, commit to habits that encourage reflection and honesty. These habits act like small steps that lead you toward your greater goals. Each step may feel simple on its own, but together they create powerful transformation. Steady habits also help you create order in your life. When your days are chaotic, your mind becomes stressed. You feel overwhelmed and distracted. But when you build habits, waking up on time, organizing your space, completing tasks, maintaining routines, you create a sense of control. You know what needs to be done. You know where you are going. This order supports maturity because it helps you make decisions with clarity instead of confusion. A structured life brings peace, and from peace comes wiser judgment. Another important part of maturity is learning to do things even when you do not feel like it. Many people rely on emotional comfort when choosing their actions. Mature individuals rely on commitment. Steady habits strengthen this commitment. When you practice something every day, you train your mind to show up regardless of mood. This builds mental endurance. It teaches you how to stay consistent in all areas of your life: work, relationships, personal growth, and responsibilities. Habits also help you develop patience. Progress takes time. And maturity comes from understanding that meaningful results do not happen instantly. When you repeat a habit daily, you learn to appreciate slow and steady growth. You stop expecting quick results. You become more calm, more focused, and more willing to keep going until your efforts pay off. This patience becomes a part of your character. It helps you stay grounded during setbacks and determined during slow periods. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is self-reflection. When you take a few minutes each day to think about your choices, your behavior, and your progress, you gain understanding. This understanding helps you adjust your actions. It helps you avoid repeating mistakes. It helps you become more aware of your emotional pattern. Mature people do not avoid self-reflection. They welcome it because it shows them where they need to grow. A steady habit of self-reflection allows you to stay connected to your inner world instead of drifting through life without awareness. Steady habits also improve your emotional stability. When you follow routines that support your well-being, such as exercising, reading, practicing gratitude, or spending time in quiet, you strengthen your ability to handle stress. You become less reactive. You develop a balanced mind. Emotional maturity grows
when you can stay calm even when life becomes stressful. These habits act as anchors. They keep you steady when pressure rises. They remind you that you have control over how you respond to your environment. Another important habit that builds maturity is the habit of finishing what you start. Many people begin tasks with enthusiasm, but stop when the work becomes difficult. Finishing something builds character. It shows you that you can endure discomfort. It teaches you responsibility. It builds self-trust. Each completed task adds to your self-respect because you see tangible proof that you follow through. Maturity comes from following through, not from starting with excitement. Steady habits also deepen your sense of accountability. When you practice good habits, you become more aware of how your choices affect your life. You stop blaming others for what you can control. You take ownership of your progress. You understand that your life depends largely on your actions. This ownership creates inner strength. You feel empowered because you know you can shape your future through consistent behavior. Another strong part of maturity is recognizing your weaknesses and working to improve them. Steady habits help you do this without shame. Small improvements repeated daily can transform any weakness into a strength. If you struggle with patience, practice daily habits that require waiting. If you struggle with organization, build habits that help you stay structured. If you struggle with confidence, create habits that challenge you to step forward. Each small improvement builds inner maturity. Habits also teach you how to manage your energy. You learn which actions drain you and which actions build you. You begin creating routines that protect your mental, physical, and emotional well-being. Mature individuals know how to take care of themselves because they understand the importance of sustainable energy. When you commit to steady habits, you learn how to balance effort, and you learn how to stay productive without burning out. You learn how to say no to things that weaken your progress. Another important habit that supports maturity is the habit of kindness. Kindness is not just about being gentle with others. It is also about being patient with yourself. When you make a mistake, maturity helps you learn instead of attack yourself. When you fall behind, maturity helps you get back up without guilt. These actions require steady habits of compassion. You grow stronger not by punishing yourself, but by lifting yourself back onto your path with determination. Steady habits also create confidence. Confidence grows from action, not words. When you practice something consistently, you improve. Improvement leads to pride. Pride leads to confidence. Mature people do not wait for confidence to appear. They build it through steady effort. Each habit you strengthen becomes proof to yourself that you can grow. This proof stays with you. It becomes a part of your identity. Confidence built through consistency is stable and long-lasting because it is rooted in real experience. Maturity also develops when you keep your environment supportive and organized. Steady habits help you remove distractions, reduce clutter, and maintain a space that promotes clarity. A clean and structured environment influences your thoughts. It makes you feel more in control. It reduces stress. It helps you stay focused on your goals. Maturity grows when your environment reflects your intentions instead of your impulse. When you develop steady habits, you also prepare yourself for responsibility. Mature individuals know how to handle commitments because they have trained themselves through daily routines. When you build habits, you build reliability. Others begin to trust you because they see your consistency, and this trust opens doors. It strengthens relationships. It creates opportunities that require dependable character. Steady habits create a version of you that does not crumble under pressure. You develop resilience because you know how to return to routines even after setbacks. You stop giving up easily. You stop losing yourself during difficult times. You become grounded, stable, and emotionally mature. In the end, developing steady habits is one of the greatest investments you can make in yourself. Each habit adds something to your character. Each repetition strengthens your maturity. Each small action shapes your future. Maturity is not built through grand gestures. It is built through daily choices that reflect the person you want to become. When you commit to steady habits, you give yourself the tools to grow into someone dependable, confident, stable, and prepared for real success.
Number 10. Lead yourself first to deserve lasting success. Lasting success is something many people hope for, but very few truly prepare themselves for. Real success does not begin with opportunities, money, or recognition. It begins with personal leadership. When you learn to lead yourself first, you build the discipline, clarity, and strength needed to handle bigger responsibilities later. Self-leadership is the foundation that supports every achievement that lasts. Without it, success becomes unstable. It slips away because the person receiving it is not ready to carry it. Leading yourself first means taking ownership of your habits, your decisions, your effort, and your direction in life. It means setting a standard for yourself that matches the success you want to earn. To lead yourself, you must first understand where you are going. Many people move through life reacting instead of leading. They wake up without a plan. They handle problems only when they appear. They follow the flow of whatever feels easiest. But leadership requires intention. It requires you to be clear about what you want and who you want to become. When you create clarity, you give your days direction. You no longer drift. You move with purpose, and purpose strengthens your daily decisions. Leading yourself also means setting standards that guide your behavior. Standards are personal rules you live by. They shape how you use your time, how you treat others, how you speak to yourself, and how you approach your goals. When you set strong standards, you show yourself that you take your life seriously. You choose discipline over convenience. You choose growth over excuses. These standards build character. They show that you are preparing yourself to handle bigger challenges, bigger opportunities, and bigger leadership roles in the future. Self-leadership requires consistency. Anyone can act strong for a day. Anyone can be focused when life feels easy. But lasting success belongs to the person who does the work even when motivation fades. When you lead yourself, you follow through on your commitments. You keep your word to yourself. You do not depend on excitement to push you forward. You depend on your own sense of responsibility. This consistency separates you from those who only show effort when things feel comfortable. Another part of leading yourself is managing your inner dialogue. The way you speak to yourself influences your behavior more than you realize. If you constantly doubt yourself, your actions become hesitant. If you constantly criticize yourself, your confidence weakens. But when you speak with honesty and encouragement, you build inner strength. You learn to push yourself when needed. You learn to calm yourself when stressed. You learn to guide your emotions instead of being controlled by them. This inner leadership shapes the way you move through your day and the way you face difficult moments. Self-leadership also means taking responsibility for your choices. When you blame circumstances or people for your situation, you give away your power. You make yourself a passenger in your own life. Leading yourself means recognizing your influence over your outcomes. You may not control every event, but you control how you respond. You control the habits you build. You control the goals you pursue. This responsibility gives you strength. It stops you from feeling helpless and pushes you into action. Responsibility is not a burden. It is a privilege because it gives you the ability to change your life. Another important aspect of leading yourself is learning to control your impulses. Emotion-driven reactions often lead to regret. Leadership requires patience. It requires thought. It requires the ability to pause before making decisions. When you learn to control your reactions, you act with wisdom. You protect your relationships. You protect your goals. You avoid unnecessary conflict. This level of emotional control shows that you are ready for more responsibility because you can handle pressure without falling apart. Leading yourself also requires discipline in your daily habits. The habits you practice shape the person you become. If your habits are weak, your character becomes weak. But when your habits are strong, waking up on time, finishing tasks, exercising discipline, practicing gratitude, staying focused, you build a version of yourself that is capable of achieving long-term success. Habits form identity. When you consistently act like a leader, you eventually become one. Another sign of self-leadership is the ability to push through discomfort. Growth often requires doing things that feel unfamiliar or challenging. Many people avoid discomfort because it feels overwhelming. But when you lead yourself, you learn to face it with strength. You understand that discomfort is not a threat. It is a necessary part of improving your life. When you push through it, you grow. You expand your abilities. You build resilience. This resilience becomes one of your greatest tools when you pursue lasting success. A strong leader also knows how to manage their environment.
Your surroundings influence your mindset. If your environment is full of distraction, negativity, or disorder, your focus weakens. Leading yourself means creating an environment that supports your goals. It means removing distractions, staying organized, surrounding yourself with people who inspire growth, and limiting exposure to habits that drain your energy. When your environment strengthens you, your actions naturally improve. Another part of leading yourself is learning to make decisions without waiting for perfect certainty. Many people remain stuck because they fear making the wrong choice. But leaders understand that progress requires action. You gather information, reflect, and then decide. You trust yourself to learn along the way. You accept responsibility for your decisions. This confidence in decision-making builds maturity. It shows that you are not afraid to take charge of your life. Self-leadership also means holding yourself accountable. You do not excuse poor behavior. You do not avoid correcting your mistakes. You do not hide from your shortcomings. Instead, you face them honestly. You learn. You adjust. You improve. Accountability creates growth because it forces you to confront the truth, and the truth guides you toward better actions. Another important part of leading yourself is understanding your long-term vision. When you know what you want your life to look like, your choices become easier. You stop wasting time on things that do not support your future. You focus your energy on actions that move you forward. Vision gives your life meaning. It keeps you steady when motivation fades. It gives you a clear reason to stay disciplined. Leading yourself also means protecting your energy. You learn to say no to situations, people, and habits that drain your strength. You stop trying to please everyone. You stop sacrificing your well-being for temporary approval. You begin valuing your time, your peace, and your mental clarity. This protection allows you to stay focused on your goals without being pulled in every direction. Another part of self-leadership is recognizing when you need rest. Leaders are not machines. They understand that rest is part of growth. When you rest, you recharge. You think more clearly. You make better decisions. You avoid burnout. Rest is not laziness. Rest is a strategy. Leading yourself means knowing when to push and when to recover. One of the greatest benefits of leading yourself first is the confidence it builds. When you see yourself doing the right things consistently, you trust yourself. You stop doubting your capabilities. You begin to feel grounded. This inner confidence makes you stronger in every area of your life. It helps you face challenges, take risks, and pursue goals that once felt unreachable. Lasting success is not something that simply arrives. It is earned through consistent leadership over your own life. When you can guide your thoughts, control your reactions, follow through on your commitments, and stay focused on your growth, you become the kind of person who can handle success with responsibility and maturity. You are no longer shaken by small difficulties. You are no longer controlled by emotions or excuses. You become steady, dependable, and prepared. Leading yourself first is the key to becoming someone who deserves success and knows how to maintain it. When you master self-leadership, you create a life built on intention, discipline, and strength. Success becomes a natural result of the person you have become. Not a temporary victory, but something that lasts because your character is strong enough to support